Hey friends, welcome back to Kitchen Wisdom. Grab a cup of coffee and pull up a chair, because today we're talking about one of my absolute favorite things in the kitchen: cast iron cookware. You know, those heavy pans that look like they could survive a zombie apocalypse. They're tough, loyal, and if you treat them right, they'll outlive your toaster, your non-stick pans, and probably even your kitchen remodel. Let me tell you about the day I got my first cast iron skillet. It was love at first sight, and then immediate panic. I had heard all the myths. Don't wash it with soap. Never let it touch water. You have to season it under a full moon while whispering to the kitchen spirits. For a while, it just sat there on my counter like an ancient artifact. I was afraid to even look at it wrong. But one morning, I decided to be brave. I made scrambled eggs. And of course, they welded themselves to the pan like they'd signed a lease. I thought I'd ruined it. But I learned quickly, cast iron isn't fragile. It's forgiving. A quick scrub, a little oil, and that pan was back in action, good as new. That's when I knew. This was the start of a lifelong friendship. Now, my cast iron skillets aren't just pans. They're part of the family. I've cooked everything in them. Sunday breakfasts, caramel for photo shoots, and even late night skillet cookies that didn't make it to the morning. Each pan has its own personality, its own little quirks, and yes, I named them. My favorite one is named Big Bertha. She weighs a ton, but she makes the best cornbread in the world. So, why am I obsessed with cast iron? For starters, it's basically indestructible. You could drop it, burn it, leave it outside overnight, please don't, and it'll still be ready for breakfast. It distributes heat evenly, keeps food hot longer, and gives you that restaurant-level sear you just can't get from a regular pan. It's also one of the most honest pans you can own. There's no fancy coating, no chemical layers, no mysterious non-stick film that flakes off after a few months. It's just iron. Plain and simple, and every time you cook in it, it gets better. The surface becomes smoother, the flavor deeper. It's like your pan is learning from you. And let's be honest, cast iron just looks good. I mean, when I'm shooting recipes for my blog, nothing photographs better than a bubbling berry cobbler in a black cast iron skillet. It gives that rustic, homey feel that says, yes, I made this from scratch, and maybe I ate half of it before I finished taking pictures. Now, seasoning sounds complicated, but it's really just self-care for your skillet. Think of it like moisturizing your pan. You rub it with a thin layer of oil. I usually use canola or avocado oil. Then bake it in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour. That's it. No moonlight rituals required. The first time I did it, I felt like a scientist. I set a timer, watched through the oven window like it was a reality show. And when I pulled it out, shiny, smooth, ready to go. I felt like I just graduated from kitchen university. If it rusts, don't panic. Rust happens. It's like your pan's way of saying, hey, a little attention, please. Just scrub it with steel wool or coarse salt. Rinse, dry completely, oil it again, and bake. My rule of thumb? Treat it like an old friend. A little TLC goes a long way. Okay, here's the part everyone worries about: cleaning. It's actually easier than you think. Forget the dishwasher. Cast iron doesn't do spa days. All it needs is hot water and a brush. No soap unless absolutely necessary. If food's stuck, I sprinkle a little kosher salt, add warm water, and scrub it with a paper towel or sponge. It's my favorite cleaning hack, natural and gentle. And yes, I'll admit it, I've made mistakes. One night, I left my skillet soaking overnight. Big mistake. The next morning, it looked like a rusty old artifact from an archaeological dig. I thought it was done for. but after some scrubbing and reseasoning, it came back to life. These pans are survivors. Honestly, I wish I bounced back that fast after a bad day. Here's my trick for drying. Once I'm done washing, I put it on the burner over low heat for a minute or two to make sure every drop of water is gone. Then I rub a drop of oil in with a paper towel. It's like saying goodnight to your pan before bed. Cast iron and I have been through a lot together. I've filmed entire recipe videos with my skillet front and center, bubbling sauces, caramel glaze dripping over the edges, the sound of a perfect sear filling the kitchen. Once, during a photo shoot, I accidentally set off my smoke alarm, trying to get that ideal golden crust on chicken thighs. Sophia came running in, thinking I'd burned down the kitchen. No, just another day in the studio. And honestly, that's what I love about cast iron. It's not delicate. It wants you to cook boldly, make a mess, try new things. It's not about perfection. It's about flavor, fun, and those little moments that remind you why you love being in the kitchen in the first place. All right, so let's talk about what I actually cook in mine. When I reach for my cast iron, it's usually because I want food that feels comforting and a little nostalgic. One of my favorite things to make is cornbread. The moment that batter hits the hot skillet, you hear that little sizzle, and the edges start forming that irresistible golden crust. It's crispy on the outside, soft in the center, and the smell alone makes the whole kitchen feel like a cozy southern kitchen on a Sunday morning. Honestly, I think cornbread was invented just to give cast iron a purpose. Then there's steak. Oh, that glorious sound when the meat hits the pan. You don't need fancy gadgets. All you need is heat, salt, and that skillet. The crust you get from cast iron? Perfection. It's my go-to when Scott and I want something special for dinner, but don't feel like firing up the grill. I've even done photo shoots with that steak right in the pan, because it just looks too good to plate. I also love tossing in veggies, peppers, onions, mushrooms, letting them caramelize until they're sweet and smoky. The cast iron does something magical to them, locking in flavor while giving them that little hint of crisp on the edges. Sometimes I throw in a handful of cherry tomatoes that burst and create a simple sauce right in the skillet, easy, rustic, and beautiful. And let's not forget dessert. I make these giant skillet cookies that come out pitinchi. Outward, warm, gooey, and begging to be eaten straight from the pan with a spoon. No judgment. I do it all the time. There's something wonderfully rebellious about skipping the plate entirely. One more thing I adore making is caramel. My homemade caramel recipe never fails in cast iron. The heat is even, so it melts sugar perfectly and gives that deep golden hue without scorching. It's so satisfying to watch that transformation happen. From clear syrup to rich amber silk. Sometimes I even film it for my blog because it's pure kitchen magic. And during the holidays, my cast iron earns its keep like a champ. From skillet stuffing and baked brie to morning cinnamon rolls and even warm dips for parties. It's always in rotation. By December, that pan practically lives on my stovetop, ready for whatever festive chaos I throw its way. It's my secret weapon when the oven is already packed with cookies, and I still need another dish to cook. I love serving dishes straight from the skillet. There's something so cozy and inviting about setting a hot pan on the table and letting everyone dig in. It's rustic, it's homey, and it saves me from washing an extra serving platter. Plus, it photographs beautifully. I can't help myself. And if you're looking for a thoughtful gift, a small pre-seasoned cast iron pan makes a wonderful holiday present. I've given them to friends who swore they'd never use one. And now they're cast iron converts, texting me pictures of their skillet pizzas at midnight. Here's the truth. Once you start cooking with cast iron, you never really go back. It's not just a tool. It's a little piece of kitchen history. Every meal adds to its story. Every scrape, every shiny spot. And one day, maybe Sophia will take one of my skillets to her own kitchen and she'll cook in it, just like I do now. That's the beauty of cast iron. It's something that connects generations. So, if you've been nervous about using cast iron, take it from me. It's not scary. It's empowering. It's messy sometimes, sure. It's heavy. You'll definitely build some arm muscles, flipping pancakes. But it's worth it. And if you're curious where to start, I'll leave my favorite cast iron tools and oils in the notes, along with my homemade caramel recipe. Because trust me, once you pour golden caramel from your cast iron pan, you'll understand exactly why I love it so much. All right, friends, that's all for today's episode. Now go show that skillet some love. And remember, in the kitchen, confidence is your best seasoning.